Hello everyone, it's Shadow Ready here, giving you some tips for 2025 and World of Warships. And here is a perfect beginner's guide that will help you out and maybe, just maybe, make it just that much better. We survived the TikTok ban and here we are. So let's get right into the first tip. The first tip is going to be kind of more about aiming.
Tips for beginners. Hitting moving targets. I oftentimes see people under or overestimating the lead they need to make on moving targets, specifically at these longer ranges, and easy, if not super flashy way to make adjustments to hit these game-ending shots is to tap your left trigger over your target, several times if needed. The auto-aim will adjust itself and you will notice how far the reticle moves away or towards the ship. This will help you see how fast they are either speeding up or slowing down. Then you can take that and the range into account and have a much better idea of how far they'll lead your shots. It's not foolproof, but it's a start to better marksmanship.
The next tip for beginners should be complete that whole tutorial. I know it seems long and boring, but man, it does teach you a lot of things about the basic movements and that type of stuff. And then it will also give you some lovely rewards, which will help you in the beginning, which will just kind of speed up your beginning progress to at least get you to roughly around tier 4. Yes, I know you're going to be playing against bots, which aren't the best things in the world to play against, but it's at least starting to learn the basics of the game, which will help you out fully, which that in itself is very nice. I wish there was a little bit better tutorial, but oh well. Once you play like lower tiers, you basically kind of will realize your gameplay style. So, with that being said, upgrade wisely. Don't be wasting all your money at once or all your credits at once. Look at the tech tree. Look at the tech tree. Look at what ships you want. Go for the end goal ship. So I would only pick like 1 or 2 ships per nation at the beginning, just so that you know, all right, I need to go down this ship that will then eventually break off into a destroyer line, and then it breaks off into whatever else. So look at what ships that you want to play in a long run, and then look at that tech tree and just narrow down what you want to play as, and it will just save you so much time and effort, because you don't want to accidentally go down like the aircraft carrier whenever there is no rhyme or reason that you need to do that. Luckily, the tech tree and like the upgrades for you are very self-explanatory. So if you see an upgrade on there that you may or may not need, I mean, in the beginning, it's fine. It's more like later on where like some upgrades you don't really need, but sometimes you do need just to have survivability. But that's going to be later on down the road. So just make sure you know how to upgrade your ships in the tech tree. Speaking of your ship, make sure you know about your ships. Understand your strengths and weakness of every ship that you play or the class of ship that you're playing. I'm going to have linked in the description the Wiki, the World of Warships Wiki. That is my bread and butter that I love to use just to kind of get a basic understanding of everything. Also, another pro tip is to go look at some YouTubers. My personal favorite is Jingles, but you can choose whoever you want. You can choose me. Hey, I may have done some of your ships, but use YouTube to figure out, at least watch 1 or 2 games of what ship you're about to play as, so that you kind of have a basic understanding of what you're about to get into. And the wiki will also kind of help you out too with like what type of captain you want to kind of build for, or what type of if you do want to buy upgrades, I would not buy upgrades until you're like at the very end or like tier 10. But if you are going to be buying upgrades, it shows you which ones are like the most effective on your ship. Granted, I know things can change, updates can happen, it may not be the most up-to-date, but as of right now, this is the most up-to-date version, is this wiki, because the forums are going away, unfortunately. So all that hard work that little white mouse did, that is eventually going away in the forums. So the wiki is the next best thing. Speaking of little white mouse, if you're looking at older ships, like the very beginning ships, your old ships like a Thunderer and that type of stuff, little white mouse is definitely the go-to. So basically, I'll put the wiki down below in the description so that you have something to look at. The next thing is the most important thing, and I like to make this at least cover a quarter of my bottom right screen, is the map. Your mini-map awareness is very important, because if you see a lemon train, which is just basically, just so you guys know that are brand new to this game, all the ships going one way and you're going the opposite way and there's nobody there to back you up, turn around, run away, do whatever you need to do. Pay attention to your mini-map, especially whenever you're a battleship. Low-tier battleships are so slow. So make sure that you're paying attention to your mini-map, being focused on what's being happening. Like, this is what I typically do after I take a shot or two. I look down at least briefly just to see what's going on, so that I kind of know internally in the back of my head, all right, we're taking over C. Oh no, we're not, you know, that type of thing, so that you know what to expect, and so that it helps you not get in a crossfire. That is the most important thing. Don't get yourself in a crossfire, and watching the minimap will help you prevent that. The next thing, it's kind of rare, but it can happen, is teamwork with your team. Make sure you have some basic communications down, like, hey, I'm a destroyer. Like, you don't have to say, hey, I'm a destroyer, but hey, I'm going to go try to capture C. Just let me know whenever you are behind me, just to support me. I can provide a smoke screen, etc., etc. Try to at least talk to your peer people that are in the game. More teamwork that you have, the better outcome you might likely will have. It's not going to be perfect, and it also depends on what server you're on too. Like, if you're on the US server, it's going to be a little bit easier, but if you're like in Europe, it's going to be a little bit different, because people don't always speak English, so, or whatever your native tongue is. So just try to have communication. Also too, look out for discords to try to like hook up with people and duel with, and create a platoon so that you can kind of cover your tail. And at least, you know, if you create a division with somebody, which is just working together with someone or playing with someone, you can get them like on voice comms or something like that, so you know that you can talk to somebody and help you out. Now, if you don't have any friends like I do, just basically just try to type as much as possible in chat, and just try not to be toxic in chat. The more toxic that it is, the least likely your team's going to win. So the next thing I do want to cover with you guys is cover and stealth. It's very important to this game to utilize cover, using islands to your advantage, making sure that you are not being attacked from another person that you're not wanting to, and just avoiding enemy fire. So at least pay attention to your like overall stealth, because like if you're a destroyer, you now know, like, all right, I have this type of range, I'll play within, you know, 1 or 2 kilometers. If I don't do that, then, you know, I could get in trouble. So make sure you realize your stealth and use cover effectively. So like if you are going to fire, if you're a destroyer, make sure you have an island to like sneak behind, so you can like pop off a shot, maybe set them on fire and hide behind the island, that type of thing. The next thing is, you know, practice and learn. You're always going to be learning this game. You can always watch different YouTube videos and that type of stuff. So just keep practicing with your different ships and different strategies. Don't go bum rushing. That's the one thing I can say right now that will never work. Never bum rush into a capture point. Usually kind of wait a couple of minutes, and then from there, keep practicing. The more games under your belt, you get better and better, I promise. The other thing too that is very nice about this game is this game allows you to record, or it keeps like a replay of the last battle that you did, or last couple of battles. So make sure, if you have time to, and you feel like this game could have gone either way and you lose, make sure you take time to replay that battle, learn from your mistakes. You know, sometimes in the heat of battle, you won't really see everything that's going on. So make sure that you are using that time to actually analyze your replays, make notes, be like, oh, I shouldn't have been this aggressive at B, but I should have been a little bit more aggressive here, and I could potentially have gotten him, that type of thing. So there's a lot of benefits to replays. A lot of games don't have this, which is kind of detrimental to some games, but at least World of Warships has it already kind of baked in your settings. So make sure you're able to pull those files. There are videos on YouTube on how to pull those replays, and so that you can rewatch and learn what you have done. Now, because you're watching those games and you're playing in-game, just make sure you have an adapted play style. Don't play the same thing over and over again, especially if it's not working. Just try to adapt to your situation. You know, you have different people that you're playing against. Some smarter, some dumber, some just, you never know. So just make sure that you're willing to change, and make sure that you're willing to, once again, kind of going back to my previous point of paying attention to the minimap so that you can then plan your people that you're going against. So once again, just pay attention to that, play an adaptive play style. It will just help every situation, and the more adaptive you are and more willing to change things, the better outcome that you will most likely have. And the last thing is have patience, especially if you're playing battleships at lower tiers. They're slow as all get out, so you gotta take time and stay patient. And once again, all these things that we've talked about keep improving you over the long haul. So I know it sounds like a little cliche of saying have patience, but it's true. This game, it does take a while to learn and master, and also too, there's a lot of, I hate to say this, but there's a lot of dead time. So during that dead time, you can strategize and that type of stuff, but always be patient. You don't always have to fire your guns right as soon as they reload. Sometimes yes, depending on your situation, but you know, take time, think about what you're doing, be patient, and it will come to you. Those are the kind of quick version of everything. If you want me to explain anything, let me know down in the comments section down below. And if you made it this far, feel free to like and subscribe. That will mean the world to me. And thank you guys. I appreciate you guys for sticking out, and have a wonderful day. You'll be great at World of Warships. And thanks for watching. Bye-bye.